And we're live, ladies. Just give it a couple minutes and let some people hop on, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Hopefully this good weather holds up.
I think it's going to.
Yeah,
I think it's going to. Which I think will play against them as well, right? With all
I think we're really lucky this year. I just feel that we're just going to really just go right into spring and not get that second wave of like
anything.
anything, whatever.
Exactly. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is an info session / update for many teachers and parents. I am super excited about this. Parents and teachers that are looking to change the system and the way your children learn, because something needs to be fixed. And I think these ladies may have found the answer. And like I said, I couldn't be more excited about this. And with me today are the ladies of Roots and Wings. And what they're doing is a small action with so much heart behind this that it brings the community back to the forefront of the education system. So I want to dive in. I want to tell you guys to like, comment, and share, because our algorithms are terrible. You know, they chase me down regularly and cut me off where they can. So we'll just put that out there right at the beginning. So let's dive in, let you guys know what these ladies have successfully started. So we're already up and running. We're just looking to expand it and spread the word here, because like I said, this is so powerful, you guys. So if I can, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, because I want the audience to connect with you and I want them to learn about you, since you've started this wonderful initiative. So I guess we'll start with Angela.
Oh, okay. Or we could start with Vanessa, because
yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You're just up at my top corner.
So yes, I'll be the last one. Yeah.
Okay. Vanessa, take it away.
Better to go first, I guess. Hi, my name's Vanessa, and I am Canadian, and I've been living in Ecuador for 13 years, and I have 2 children, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old now. And yeah, about 3 years ago, I opened up a school called Roots and Wings, and it started with the intention to providing a more holistic education for my children, and it's slowly expanding to now helping the community and now in Canada as well. And so I guess the backbone of Roots and Wings is that we want to educate children, not just in scholastics, not just in the brain, but we want to educate them in emotional well-being. We want to educate them in their bodies, how to move, how to breathe, how to eat properly, how to have successful relationships. So trying to educate the whole person as opposed to just one small part of these children. And yeah, for us, I mean, because we're independent of the government, we've been able to stay open throughout the whole pandemic. And I think just realizing how important it is to have a safe space for children. So regardless of what's going on around them, they all know that when they come in, it's safe, it's built on love, acceptance, and understanding. And
I love it. Love it. Steph?
Yeah, I'll go next. Yeah, my name is Stephanie. So I think, the piece that brought Roots and Wings to Canada. And Vanessa and I have known each other for many years and worked alongside. We have similar businesses with yoga and education. And so I'm a teacher by trade. I'm a high school biology chemistry teacher. I was teaching overseas in the private sector for almost 6 years. And then when I returned last year, I knew that I had to do something different from what I was seeing in the schools. When I was working in the private sector, I worked with really great progressive schools, but also schools that I felt just were lacking some really key important parts for the kids' education. But also I felt that, you know, I wasn't supported as a teacher. I saw all my colleagues burned out, and I just saw kids not really getting what they should be getting. And so I knew that I had to remove myself first, go figure it out for myself. What are all the holistic ways that, you know, I can like incorporate into my life so that it comes off authentically when I bring it into the classroom again, or whatever learning space I would join. And so when I, you know, talked to Vanessa over the years, we get into a lot of conversations on what, you know, holistic education is, what is progressive, what's going to be really good for the future. And I believe her program is really beautiful, and it just does that. So I thought, why don't we bring it to Toronto? And we did in August, and started learning pods to create that safe space when school perhaps wasn't that space for kids at the beginning. And now it's just been growing. And so now we're looking at opening up micro schools in September in different regions in Southwestern Ontario, and just really excited about that.
Awesome.
Okay, so I've known Stephanie for a long time, since our early 20s. We worked together at Oxford Learning Centers, and we both went on to become teachers. And when she came back she moved back from overseas this summer, she started talking to me about Roots and Wings, and I was sort of at a crossroads. Stuff was starting to shift here, and so I decided, I wasn't sure yet about the program or anything, so I did have a secondary option for my son, who was slated to go to, you know, our local public school, and I decided against putting him in public school. Thankfully, I made the right decision. And a few months later, probably fast forward till December, I think that's when we kind of, parents in general, sort of all hit rock bottom with the education system. Because I think there's a huge process. I mean, I'm a teacher myself in the board, so we're part of it. We've been through it. It's in us. And just stepping away from it is a hard process. And so she's had a great thing where she's removed herself from it and was able to create something amazing and then bring it back. So I think I kind of did that, but not really as, you know, physically as she did. And I hopped on board with Steph. I would say end of December, I really started to feel the urgency, like my urgency odometer went off as a parent, looking forward and thinking, okay, I now see clearly, you know, the holes in the system. I don't have time or energy to fix it or want to, and I just want to focus my energy on building something new and better. And so she already had it underway with obviously Vanessa, who had started it all in Ecuador. And I kind of hopped on board as the parent. I have two children, 3 and 5, and I want to create something for them. My motivation was to create something for them that is going to be safe, loving, holistic, that's going to have all the missing pieces that are missing in the traditional system. And then when we threw, you know, the pandemic and everything else that happened, it just brought really the urgency on to like, kind of like, it needs to happen now. And so we just started building, and the response has been incredible from the community, just incredible. We've just been overwhelmed, I think, with the response in such a short amount of time, because it really concentrated and happened during I guess it's the second lockdown, or whenever, from January to end of February, beginning of March, is when things really started to become dire in the school systems here in Ontario, and parents started coming together in different groups. And I was part of these groups. And so, you know, we started all brainstorming, okay, what are we going to do now? Like, this isn't going away. And now we see what's happening, and school is not safe, and we need, you know, our kids need to be safe, and they need to be loved. And that's exactly what Vanessa created. So we need to just spread that like wild, like spread it like a virus everywhere.
Yeah. And with the inevitable third wave coming up, you know, that the kids' rights are dwindling.
They said we're in it. We're in the wave.
Yeah, we're in it. I'm drowning in the tsunami. Anyways, so talk to me. What does a pod look like compared to a micro school? Because I know you mentioned a micro school. What is the difference between a pod and a micro school?
So a pod requires a home host. Usually it's a parent who offers to use their space for the learning, and they invite up to 6 children to be part of that space. So it would include their children and either other families or neighbors that live close by. And they offer, usually it's very minimalistic. So there's not much that you need to offer other than a communal table for everyone to work at, and a open space. So the kids can do morning circle, closing circle, and also some yoga and mindful movement. And then part of it is also outdoors. So they go outdoors twice a day. So if they're near a park, it would be beneficial. And it doesn't need to be like this amazing, great park. Obviously, that is super helpful, but even a little parkette can offer so many great learning experiences. So even the backyard, really, it works. So that's
now. Sorry to cut you off. I don't mean to. I just.
It's okay.
Is that like weather related, or is that like? Do you know what I mean? Like everything has become so. The kids have become so bubbled. So is that going to be weather related, or is that, rain or shine, out you go? We're gonna
rain or shine, out you go. Yeah.
You
just need the right clothes. You just go out there. Yeah. If it rains, you put your rain jacket on, your rubber boots.
Yeah. We're going out.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Now talk to me about the ratios in this class. Like what would a parent expect from, like, say, a micro school or a pod? What are the ratios, kids to teacher?
So a pod is 6-to-1 ratio here in Toronto, and the micro school here is going to be made for about 20 children capacity. So we try to say that if in one region you have 3 pods, we like to create a learning space at that point to house all 3 pods. So it'll be like minimum 18 children with maximum of around 20. So at that point, we're going to be offering a 5-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
So 4 teachers, 20 children.
Wow.
It might even, depending on, I think it depends on the space. We're looking currently for a space in the west end of Etobicoke, but they have a micro school underway in Caledon. They're going to have one in, is it Waterloo stuff? I think she's
frozen. There she is.
The one in Waterloo is that's so depending, I think, on how many spaces the location provides, like separate spaces, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's where the community comes into play too, right? I mean, the volunteers and
yeah, so that's a big part of it. We want families to like contribute their skills and their talents with the group. So, I had some
examples of what they're doing over there.
Yes.
Yeah. So for instance, obviously we're a different climate than you guys are. So and being by the ocean, we have more availability. But for instance, we have surf class every Tuesday. And so that is parent run. So actually my husband is the surf instructor. And then we have different parents. Usually it's the same parents, but they come every Tuesday, and then moms or tots will come on the beach and watch. And then, so that's parent run. And then we have another mom who's in charge of the garden. And so once a week she comes in and does gardening, or we have aerial yoga. We have a mom that's an aerial yoga teacher, so she runs that. And we've got a sewing class. And so that actually is a volunteer from the community that comes in and runs sewing class. And we've got cooking classes. And we've actually are just in combining now a meditation and cooking class. And so the kids are going to start making all reusable bags for grocery shopping, and then we're going to combine that with cooking and teaching them about preservatives and the ingredients in your food and how to start being conscious about that. And and how to put energy into cooking and stuff. So it really opens it up. We really try to encourage families to be a part, because I think it's something for the children to see mom or dad come into school and feel like, wow, you've taken time out of your day and you're a part of this, and I can show you what I'm learning. It's really important.
That's amazing. So you're reintroducing the life skills they've removed from the typical education system, which like I said, I am so excited about what you guys are doing. And I'm going to say it over and over. You guys are going to get sick of me saying it. So talk to me about what a typical day would run through. Like, what does it look like?
Steph?
I think, well, I can tell you what we're doing in the pods here. So I've kind of termed it as we have these blocks, like the structure, and we have maybe, let's say 5 or 6 blocks in a day, but the blocks themselves are movable pieces. So you don't have to do 1, 2, 3 to 6, let's say in the day. You kind of are always following the children's lead and seeing where they're at. So it's about really us adapting to them. And so but I'll give you an example of what's been working. In the morning, we have kind of a tuning in. So, connecting to our senses, and then doing breath work and a little bit of yogic philosophy, just on kind of what is our role in this world and how do we connect with others. And then that's our first block. So we spend about half an hour in the morning, plus or minus, really, connecting with them and having them come to a communal energy, because they all come from different spaces at home. And then we go out to a nature walk to release that excess energy. And so, we can tie that into the intention of the day. We can go do journal writing out there. We can bring the yoga outside. It's just about going out in nature and connecting and trying to be like mindful. When we come back, they take a break, like recharge, whether it's snack, bathroom, whatever they need to give themselves. And then we move into our learning activity of the day, which is about 45 minutes to an hour. And all the learning activities from our curriculum are inquiry-based, play-based. I mean, everything is just you actually do it. Yeah, it's super active. And really fun. They love it. So it's, to them, they feel like it's like going to camp, it just doesn't feel like regular school, and it doesn't feel like a typical school day. The learning is really, it can be brought out of that moment into their regular life, and so they make these big connections through all the activities. After that, they go into lunch. There is a journaling and silent reading typically after, to kind of settle and ground them back again. And then we do, in a full day, another academic learning activity, followed by closing circle, which has some yoga, but also we always end in a nice shavasana with guided meditation. So it's all about kind of giving them all these different spaces in the day to be active, but to also ground down, to reflect. And so, yeah, we truly believe it's well balanced.
And I wanted to add that although in the pods, we don't have the community coming in just yet, I do know that some of the pods are doing their own version of electives. I mean, if the kids are, they're playing musical instruments, they bring those in, or if they have a special skill, they're showcasing that on the Friday, for example. But I know that Stephanie is definitely looking at bringing in aerial yoga and surfing, right? Some electives. Our micro schools will definitely have electives that will enrich, the whole curriculum, for sure.
Yeah.
Where it's located and what they're offering and what the community is offering in that specific area. So it's really community-based. I think it's lots of parent involvement.
Right.
Yeah. Now, is it a curriculum homeschool parents can use? That's just one of our questions we've got.
As of the moment, no. It's poor. I did see that. So if they were doing a pod, that would be like their homeschool version of it. So the teacher that we would, send to the home to teach the pod children, they'd have access to the curriculum. We're in the works of creating something for parents that is a version of what we do, that can be done for homeschool, but we haven't released that yet.
Awesome. So this lady is just wondering about the logistics going forward into next year and the winter again. I think that is COVID related. Have you thought that far ahead? Obviously, I'm assuming you are, since you started it during COVID, but
yeah.
What do you have planned go forward?
So yeah, in order for this to run and we don't run into any problems, we have to keep to certain ratios. So we are very aware of that. We're also a homeschool organization and community. We're not a registered business. So I think there's few things we're pausing on, because I think once you kind of take that leap into registering yourself as a business or using a commercial space, you have to follow certain guidelines. So eventually that would be great, but right now we're holding the brakes just to do this our way. But I know that we all do fall under the umbrella of unlicensed childcare, and with that, you do need to maintain a 5-to-1 ratio.
Awesome, awesome. Now, what age and grades are available out there? Is it the whole wide range? Are you guys allowing for high school as well? Like, what's the plan there?
Yeah, so right now it's kindergarten to grade 8. We have a solid curriculum, I would say, until that it can be adaptable up to the grade 5 level. After that, for 6, 7, 8, we're teaching for that academic hour that I'd mentioned before in the morning and in the afternoon. We use the Ontario curriculum, the overall expectations, but we align it to whatever the rest of the group is doing. So everyone can be learning about marine biology, let's say, but we try to say, okay, which overall expectations the Ontario curriculum will align with what the rest of them are doing. So that's kind of how we're using that. And then for high school, this has been a big conversation piece the last 2 weeks, because we understand that there's a huge need for it. So I am working actively with other members in the community to put something together to offer it for September.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So then to move it forward, what is it you guys are looking for? More parent participation?
Yeah,
Are you
like,
looking for
good
more
question.
teachers to are set up to join in?
I think this is great because it's getting the word out. I think a lot of people just don't know, and a lot of people are stuck. We are actively looking for spaces. And they're coming up. But yeah, we as soon as we secure, I think, our West End location, we're opening registration for September. And it's kind of going to be a first come, first serve, and then we'll go from there to see. But I feel like we also need to keep it manageable. Like Jeff brought on 8 new people in the past couple of weeks, just regional coordinators all over Ontario. So it's going really fast.
Yeah, but it's been super helpful, like just to have amazing moms, educators, just really taking the lead in their community, and they know the space the best, right? They're near their area, so they're just connecting with families and forming pods there, and it's been really, really helpful. I've had many people reach out wanting to help and volunteer, and I just I guess I encourage everyone to reach out if they can volunteer. Right? It's never like in this instant, but I know as things develop, I'm definitely going to need more support. We will. So yeah.
We're not
open to volunteers always.
Yeah, I'd like to see this spread out everywhere.
The coordinators that we brought on board are just so amazing. And so we do have them in, I think all Southwestern Ontario, right, Steph, right now?
Yeah, and we've had a lot, we've had interest come from Vancouver and from Montreal. And so I would ask if anyone here, is interested and has like a good, I would say, position in their community, perhaps a good reach in their community and want to support, that would be really helpful, just because the more people we can group together, the better. We're just not there, right? So it's just harder for us to help those in, let's say, Vancouver, Montreal.
Even if they don't have a position or reach, if it's a mom, I didn't before all this. I just really started looking into, alternative groups and like-minded people when I found myself kind of an outsider in the system, right? So I sought out groups and mom groups and just like-minded people who I was going to take my kids to play with somebody else's kids, and that we were just going to go about our lives normally again. Even somebody who's just really determined to find a better system for their children in a safer space.
Right.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So now we hit the age-old question. What is the cost parents are looking at for something like this?
So for our pods, it's a set fee. And so with a 6-to-1 ratio, whether you have 4 kids or 6 kids or 2, let's say, in the pod, it would always be the same price. So we're at $5,750 for the pod. That comes out to just under $960 a student. That gives you full day every day for the month. So it's Monday to Friday, 6.5 hours. So right now our schedule is 9 to 3:30, but again, it's flexible with what the families need. And then our half day is $3,000 a month. So that comes out to $500 a student, and that's for 3.5 hours a day. Or we say 17.5 hours a week, because some families choose to do 2 full days and then 3 full days the next week, and they kind of alternate that way. So they still meet the same part-time hours. Right. So the schedules are flexible right now. This is for the pod pricing. Once we move into learning spaces for the micro school for next year, our price is going to go up a little bit more, just because we have to, cover the expenses of a new rental space. And also we want to be able to offer the meals too, just because we think, communal eating together as a family, one meal with the education piece is really important.
Yep. Someone's asking if you have any teachers in the Niagara area.
Well, we do have a coordinator out there contacting families. And so, yes, if there is a pod that's going to be formed, we put a post out and reach out to teachers for the area. So it's definitely possible.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So where can people get a hold of you to touch base? Like, we want the volunteers to find you. How do they find you, ladies?
So I guess there's 2 places, right? Ecuador and Toronto. I'll speak for Toronto. You can reach us through Instagram is like probably the best for information, but also our email. So it's right down there, rootsandwingstoronto@gmail.com. And our handle on Instagram is rootsandwingscs, which stands for Community School. And we also have a website, rootsandwingsayampe.com, where you'll see information for the Ecuador location, but then ours as well.
That's wonderful. And Vanessa, I know you told me a story the other day. Can you tell everybody about the turtle adventure? You have to, because it's I want to be in Ecuador with you.
So we've actually started a program it's a turtle sanctuary down the street. And so for me, I think conservation of the environment and animals is so important to children. They learn empathy. We learn so much. And so we have this program where twice a month, we go and we take care of these injured turtles. And so the turtles will range anywhere from 80 years old to newborns, because Ayampe is a hatching ground. So actually right now there's nests all over the beach. And so the kids are patrolling the nest. So yeah, we go and we take care of the turtles, and it's interesting because we use old toothbrushes. So all the kids get really excited to bring their old toothbrushes in to clean the turtles. And so we take care of the turtles, and we've also now been contacted by World Wildlife Federation with the program we started, and we're working with them to expand it to create ambassadors in our community. So not just at Roots and Wings, but how can we start making this program available to the local communities? Because I think, it's great. I feel like our kids are privileged, but it's about educating everyone. Like, Stefan, and we're saying it's a community. It's not just a select few. So it's just great. And actually right now tomorrow we're taking the day off school from in the classroom, and we're now creating a mural in one of the local communities. And so the children have talked to the organizers and explained all the important things they've learned. And now we've built a mural of education for kids, and now we're all going to paint it tomorrow. And parents are coming, so it's the whole school is coming together. So that'll be our school day tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. Okay, I guess I've got one more question for you. What about kids with special needs, educational needs, special needs? Is that something that you can cater to there?
Special needs or educational needs, which one?
Either or.
So I'll just talk a little bit about the educational needs part, and then Steph, I'll let you talk about the special needs. Vanessa, but I think this program works wonders for the kids who have been left out in the system, because we, in the system, we label kids, you know, we label them, and if you don't fit into a specific box, you're deemed, learning disabled or gifted. That's the other, end of the spectrum. So it always creates like this polarity in schools. And like in my school, for example, we run AP courses, so like advanced placement. So it's like if you're an AP kid or, all this stuff. So I really believe that the pods offer, and this type of learning environment offers kids the safety net to just kind of be without any kind of pressure, label, and I personally myself experienced with the pod that I taught, children who were learning disabled and 3 years behind in the system. And I get these kids, I'm like, they're brilliant. Like, they're just not brilliant in like writing a hamburger paragraph, but they're brilliant in so many other ways that are not recognized in the system. So just tapping into that. And as soon as a child, I think, associates learning with positivity, everything just comes out. And once they're in that safe space and they don't feel any of these pressures or labels or tests or like rigorous like standards that they need to meet, everything else just flows naturally. And the main thing is that they're happy and they are learning, and they're learning a lot. And so that's what I have to say about the educational learning needs. About special needs, I guess that would depend on the
I think exactly. I think you need to look at it on a case-by-case basis, because we want to be able to offer the support that child needs. So it's not about accepting or not accepting. It's about, can we actually give this child what they need? Do we have enough support on our team? Do we have enough resources on our team to really fulfill that? And I take that, responsibility seriously. So I have been speaking with one of our coordinators also who's an EA, and she highly suggested, offering that as well as an extra support for any, student who might have special needs. And so we'd have to look at it, but there are options, that we can work with.
It would also depend on the space. If they need like a specific if they have a specific physical disability, let's say, is the place equipped?
Sorry, did I freeze?
But also they work with, there's an occupational therapist on the staff. Steph, do you want to, or Vanessa, do you want to talk about Rachel?
Do you want me to speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we actually have an occupational therapist who's originally from Spruce Grove, and she's now living actually down the street from me. And so for instance, like speaking about special children, so we have, and again, I think labels, it's like we've talked about, labels are, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But we have had mild autistic children. We've had very high, we have quite a bit of high functioning, high anxiety. And so for us, I think it's just working closely with Rachel and her giving us tools. Okay, how can we regulate these children, and how can we adjust activities? So for instance, if we have a child that, we're doing a sit down activity, but that's just not what they need. Okay, so how do we manipulate the activity so we're not forcing them to do, we're changing like steps ourselves for them. Mm-hmm. So for us, I mean, we've done really well. We've had quite a few variety of children, and it's challenging. It's definitely not, but I feel like everybody's learning so much. So it is completely possible. I think, like Steph said, it's just finding the right facilitator to support that child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure you see them thrive with the way you guys do things. So that's
It's
That's
nice.
really wonderful to see. Oh, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know, it gives me hope for the kids actually now, you know. Awesome. So am I missing anything? Is there anything that you ladies would like to add before we close down here?
No, I think I just wanted to say, just because I thought about it right now as she ended, I think in the system, it's all about institutionalizing it, right? Institutionalizing education. And I think we're just trying to take a very organic and individual approach and recognize each child as an individual, very unique. And that's why our ratios are small. And we just want to bring out all that amazing curiosity and stuff that's in kids that maybe is being stunted in the system. And, you know, I mean, maybe the system does work for a lot of kids. Yeah, but it doesn't it's not a one size fits all, just like a lot of other things, right? That are institutionalized, or they try to, you know, burst down everybody's throat. It's not a one size fits all. And so I think Roots and Wings is really about creating a safe space with no labels and no pressure on kids, but also about recognizing each individual child's uniqueness and individuality. And teaching them how to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Flourish?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Reach their potential. That's what I'm trying to go with there.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Christine, is there anything you want to add before we end today's segment here?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing that you are raising these children to be critical thinkers, which is something I really feel is we're losing every day more and more in the current system. So I think that's probably the most important part, because we're going to need these kids to be critical thinkers to lead the next generation into some freedom. So awesome job.
Thank you.
Yeah, the critical thinking piece is definitely super important, but as is like teaching kids again to listen to their own intuition and believe in themselves. And I think we can do that and it might be, you know, presumptuous here, but I think we can do that by teaching them the things like how Vanessa's school is doing, you know, the home ec and the sewing, and just going back to the roots of how, I guess, learning should be. I dare be so daring.
I agree. No, I absolutely 100% agree with you.
And I think when we do that and we connect kids with nature a lot, and we give them these tools through breath and self-awareness, that we then refocus them on their intuition, and they're able to listen to that intuition. And there's a word I'm looking for here. Steph, without like doubting themselves. What's that word?
What, self-doubt? Is that what you're talking about?
Like just being confident. That's
Confident.
Confidently listening to their intuition. Because I think that's a major issue today in the world. Like,
it's lost.
Humans, adults, we are not confident about listening to our own intuition. I was definitely very, very scared back in August when I decided to not send my son to school and like send him to, you know, a different system. So, but I listened to my intuition, and I'm so thankful that I did.
And that was something we talked about before too, was empowering parents, right? And so it might be a little bit scary to like take your, you know, kids out of the system, and you're like, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But that's something we want to offer too, is support for parents, a training for parents, so that if that is the avenue you want to take, you know, we will offer you the tools and strategies and support to make you feel confident in that decision.
And what about ECs? Are you ladies looking for ECs?
Yes, we are. Yes, because we have a kindergarten PODS and early years PODS. So absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so great. Wonderful. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. I just want to direct your attention again to the Roots and Wings CS on Instagram, as well as the website that you can find along the bottom there. Roots and Wings Toronto at gmail.com. Looking for teachers and parents that want to offer up spaces collaboratively as a community. Community education is what I love. I love the idea. We have to take it back to the simpler, just simpler all around, and give these kids skills that they're going to utilize through their whole life to build the confidence, like Angela said.
Yeah, raw schooling. Like, I love that.
Yeah, raw schooling.
Our name is literally like our acronym is RAW, so it's just super in line with.
Worked out well.
Yeah, you ladies really do inspire me, and I am so glad you could be there today. And
this is what's happening. This is the way of the future. The system will,
Yes, the system is broken in multiple ways, and it's up to us to fix it and change it and build it from the ground up.
Yeah, so this is our version. This is our version of building it back better.
Yeah. That's true.
And this is taking action.
And it's working. It's true.
And the good news is even, Vanessa in Ecuador, anywhere around the world, they've heard this slogan, build back better. So this is definitely our prerogative, is to build this back better, way better.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, ladies. Thanks for joining me. And thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, let us know. Check out their Instagram page. Check out the website, and definitely if you want to touch base and volunteer, email them again at rootsandwingstoronto@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.